I have covered the topic of Black Indians very often as a Native American journalist and radio show host, and I have found so often a disproportionate amount of understanding for those of white and Indian ancestry and Black and Indian ancestry. For example, if I say, I'm Mohawk and Austrian and German, people very rarely question that I'm Native American. This is not necessarily the case with people of African American descendancy and Native American descendancy. They often get questioned, well, you couldn't be, etc., etc. So it's kind of a double standard. At a recent powwow, I was lucky to meet up with some friends of mine, Dr. Arica Coleman, who is Rappahannock and African American, and she is the writer of the book That the Blood Stay Pure. She's also a professor of Black Studies at the University of Delaware. Mr. Harold Caldwell is Gros Ventre and Muskogee, and he's a northern traditional dancer who's been all over the country. And both of them have told me on numerous accounts on how they received criticism for, because they look African American, they couldn't possibly be Native American. So I interviewed them, and they have some very, very interesting comments.
As you can see, I am of African American heritage, and I do have what they call dreadlocks. And a lot of times when I tell people that I am also Native American, they have a real problem. Oh my God, an Indian in dreadlocks. Well, of course, if you understand the history of African American and Native American peoples in this country, we had some things in common. Once the communication barrier was taken care of, the Native people and African peoples realized that there was so much in common culturally. For instance, the drum. The drum is the heartbeat of the nation, of Native Americans and both African peoples. We honor our ancestors. It's shared both between African American and Native American people. This love of nature, no, not a worship of nature, but understanding that we are all connected.
I spent most of my life dancing out in California, out west. Never really had any problems until I came here to Virginia. It is absolutely a struggle. People with the cultural, conflict within themselves. I think you really have to be strong within yourself first in order to walk in this world, especially if you don't quote unquote look Indian. I think that's the first part that has to come first, and then moving forward to try to prove who you are. But there are full-bloods that feel like they don't need to have their card. Only cultural group in the country that needs to identify who they are as a culture, and people generally accept you for who you are and they trust in who you are. And I think when you do things the right way, then people know that you're walking in the right way, and they generally believe in what you say.
When we found out that those things were in common, it was very easy for us to begin to fellowship with one another. And as one artist says, he says, first we prayed, then we danced, and then we made relatives.